Hey guys, Crypto Sunday, and it's a rather green week. About 9% up for the portfolio. It's beaten the S&P and the Nasdaq, which is rather nice for a change. The stock side underperformed, so it's nice to have this as well. The little Solana basket has done quite well, albeit sort of underperforming for quite a while. We've got helium at 0%, 11 pence in the red, so that's quite funny. But we'll come back to those. Looking at the CoinShares report, it's also extremely flat. You can't even see that. Slightly positive, but 6 million in inflows for the week before last. Looking at the breakdown, this is 6 million in outflow, slight outflow for Bitcoin, 26 million for Ethereum, 3 million into the multi-asset, a tiny amount into Solana, but the only thing actually making this a positive week is 37.7 million into XRP. So at some point, I guess, do we have to start accepting that XRP is going to do quite well, and maybe it's institutional because someone's buying all of this up. Nearly every week it's quite significantly positive and sort of outperforming for its size, I suppose, and for its level of AUM. What else we got? Slight outflow out of SUI, outflow out of short Bitcoin as well. So people sort of taking a bit of profit maybe, or taking a loss, as we've had a very nice week. 0.4 million outflow out of others, nothing sort of too much there. But then, interestingly, so you got 71 million out of US ETFs, but basically a green wall in everything else. Hong Kong sort of flat, but Canada, Germany, Switzerland, all sort of looking rather good. And that is what is causing the 6 million in inflow. It's inflow into all the other countries, basically. So that's quite good. And looking at this week's inflows, we're going to get an extremely positive CoinShares report. First in a rather long while. Full green week. We had 387 million on Monday. Sort of green across the board. 936 million Tuesday. 917 on Wednesday with a small outflow out of Bitwise. And then 442 and 380 again, pretty much same as Monday. So yeah, only a couple of small outflows, a little bit out of Grayscale, two rather large inflows into Grayscale GBTC at 1.5% expense ratio. So I always start to think that this is more arbitrage, and I don't know whether people would do the basis trade thing with GBTC because it's volatile still. I don't know. It seems very odd, but people piling into that and the new Grayscale. But yeah, overall, rather nice. 3 billion pretty much in inflows just into Bitcoin. And Ethereum looking rather less happy, but is starting to get some positive numbers at least. It was negative on Monday and Wednesday with a little outflow out of BlackRock, and sort of continued outflows from Grayscale ETH. No surprise there, but yeah, not maybe not the best seeing outflow out of BlackRock. But then they got 40 million and 54 million Thursday and Friday, which sort of had a nice bump to the overall numbers. So yeah, 38 million inflow on Tuesday, and then 63 and 104 million. First sort of triple figure inflow for months, I think. So yeah, not too bad for Ethereum either. We have more buying from Michael Saylor and Strategy, of course. 6,556 Bitcoin for 555 million at 84,000. So sort of buying quite a bit lower than where we are now. Currently sitting at sort of 94,000. So yeah, a nice big chunk at 84 certainly helps, although obviously raises their average price because they're still way below that. 67,776 still sort of, below sort of 70,000. Maybe not the worst thing. They're still pushing the Bitcoin yield 12.1% year to date, which I think is nonsense. But yeah, they hold 538,000 now. So pushing up their numbers. So this was interesting. A rather large potential competitor for MicroStrategy. We've obviously got competitors already, people like MetaPlanet in Japan, but they're sort of relatively small scale. And yeah, you have this new sort of conglomerate basically of companies coming together to create a company called 21. Basically saying they're heavily inspired by Michael Saylor's strategy. Yeah, and you're getting analysts coming out and saying that this is bullish for MicroStrategy as well. So SoftBank, Tether, and Cantor Fitzgerald, who are the sort of banking partners behind Tether, and sort of Howard Lutnick being founder of Cantor on the presidential committee as Commerce Secretary. Yeah, they have come together to create 21, structured explicitly around holding Bitcoin as its primary business. Many called it a significant rival to Strategy, and they're coming in with quite a lot of Bitcoin, launching with over 42,000 Bitcoin at launch. And this is, strangely enough, coming from SoftBank and Tether and Cantor. So rather unusual. SoftBank, they were saying, had 900 million in Bitcoin. Sort of unknown when they actually bought that, whether they bought it just for setting up this company, and that's part of the, the reason the price has done well, or they've held it for a while. Haven't really sort of had that confirmed, but yeah, launching a new company straight away with 42,000 Bitcoin, worth $4 billion at current prices, is rather bullish. And you've had some analysts from TD Cowen saying that sort of far from having a potential knock on MicroStrategy's stock, as it's sort of, large competition, people might think that they would lose premium to their stock price. They could do still, of course. The analysts are saying that this is positive for MicroStrategy because it, provides validation, the first most meaningful validation of Strategy's operations, leaving them incredibly bullish. They think MicroStrategy could get to 757,000 Bitcoin by the end of fiscal 2027, which gives them a $550 price target. The analyst said if Bitcoin hits an average of 170,000, it could be worth 129 billion. So rather strong. And the Cantor Fitzgerald, it looks like, have launched a SPAC for 21 to buy into. So that's the way they're looking to launch. And yeah, it's up 130% since this announcement. So it's not as if they have to have a sort of profitable company, basically. They're just launching it as a company with 42,000 Bitcoin and looking to buy more. So what I guess is a $10 SPAC has risen to, $23 presumably, straight off the back of that. So interesting. Then this was quite a surprise. I knew we had a company called Sol Strategies, sort of partly looking to do the same as Strategy with Bitcoin. Sol Strategies were looking to do sort of similar with Solana, albeit not just buying Solana, but sort of buying various tokens and sort of investing in more of the infrastructure around it. But you do now have another company, JNVR, called DeFi Development Corp, planning to raise $1 billion to buy Solana, basically, in the same sort of vein as MicroStrategy. So, yeah, I love this. They always say using the proceeds for general corporate purposes, including Sol purchases. They do seem to sort of put it pretty much all into that, whether they sort of take a little bit for themselves or put it into sort of other parts of the business. We don't really know, but they've adopted a treasury strategy centered around Solana. They've acquired 48 million so far, so looking to buy a billion more Solana was quite a move, and it will sort of increase their holding rather substantially. Worth noting that they're planning to operate validators on Solana to earn staking rewards. So yeah, if they get a billion worth of Sol, you can potentially earn sort of 8%, 10%, sometimes even a little bit more, which is more than Strategy. Because they, at the moment, don't do anything with their Bitcoin. It essentially just sits there, not earning anything. So that's quite interesting. Sol Strategies also have raised 500 million, or yeah, they have secured up to 500 million convertible note facility to ramp up their investments in the Solana network. So it's unsure whether that will be all used to buy Solana, but I'm guessing they will probably buy some. In addition to the 1 billion shelf registration for DeFi development, they also filed to register 1.24 million shares on behalf of early investors. So DeFi Development Corp has surged 970% following the leadership shakeup and moved up 4% in after-hours trading. So sort of see this as fairly big news. I mean, $1 billion, if Bitcoin is moving partly, there's obviously lots of things that go into the Bitcoin price, but I would expect people like Strategy and possibly SoftBank, investing like 500 million into Bitcoin. If that has an effect, and Bitcoin, we have to remember, is 25 times the market cap of Solana, then $1 billion into Solana and potentially some of 500 million from Sol Strategies, into a coin that is a 25th of the price and has a hell of a lot of its supply staked. I think 70 odd % of Solana is currently staked, then could cause a rather large move. So yeah, not getting too excited just yet, but sort of prepared to maybe be shocked. I thought helium was looking quite good as well. Sort of noted they've just partnered with AT&T to sort of expand, looking to provide a hell of a lot more at the moment. They've got daily users up to 779,000 now. Daily transfers, sort of offloading data from the other carriers over to Helium when it's sort of a bit overloaded. Sign-ups rocketing up as well, although they have introduced the free sign-up, which I think started around here, so it's no surprise to see that sort of spike up. They're sort of hoping the free sign-up, people will like the service, and then move on to a paid subscription. And you keep getting these sort of stair-step rockets up in hotspots, and we had one of those in April, beginning of April, so they're up to 93,000 hotspots now. So looking good. The price has sort of done reasonably well, but it's good to see fundamentals sort of backing that up. And then just keeping up with the global liquidity chart as well. It looks like they've sort of made some adjustments to this because we've had a rather large spike up in sort of February that I don't think was there before, and it looks like we're sort of currently up to 148, where I believe this high, they were showing it at 142 last week or so. So it looks like there's been some adjustments made to it. Looks like this spike up is largely due to adding another country into the M2 figures, because if you take the M2 numbers out, that sort of spike appears to largely go away. So yeah, I don't sort of get too excited about that. I'm guessing that money was already out there. They're just adding that into the indicator. But yeah, including that in and sort of ignoring that spike up. Looking at the last month or so, we're still sort of up on well, heavily up on April. Looks like about $3 trillion, but sort of just taken a slight pullback in the last week, down to sort of 148. Did reach 149 just. And whether you're sort of using this as a a longer term indicator, it's obviously, I mean, so if we knock that other countries out just to sort of normalise this a little bit more, it sort of rocketed up in September time. This came down into the new year, and that's what a lot of people are saying has caused this this drop down to the sort of 75s. Obviously, partly caused by tariffs as well, but sort of has very recently broke to the new high of well, it's 124 without the other countries M2. So if you sort of think the liquidity is leading the price at the moment, then you would sort of expect a higher move than we got here. Sort of, this high on liquidity leading to 107. Maybe this new high in liquidity leads to much more, and you would sort of expect it to get going, considering sort of liquidity bottomed out in the new year and has been sort of rocketing up for 4 months now. So we'll see. Can't sort of treat this indicator like a religion or anything, but it is sort of fundamentals rather than just smoothing out lines and things, RSI and MACD and that sort of thing, which are just a sort of an average on the price. This is actually real money out there in the wild. So yeah, I like this rather than a lot of other indicators. So what has been causing all of this gain? Unsurprisingly, Bitcoin up 11% has provided most of that gain. Solana doing quite well, 5.8%. Ethereum actually outperforming Bitcoin, which you don't say too often, 13%. So is Chainlink, 12.5%. And then I go into my little Solana basket, which is a little bit up and down. Helium, we sort of show, was doing quite well, is up 24%, pretty good. Gito, 7.6%. Radium, obviously after having a very poor time, is up 33%, so that's outperformer for the week. Metaplex is a little bit quiet, 1.25%. And Honey, the Hive Mapper token, had sort of been having a very rough time, is bottom for me now, but is up 30% for the week. So very, very volatile and up and down. But we'll have to see where we go. Yeah, leave your thoughts in comments below. If you guys are holding on, if you're buying anything, or if you're more into sort of the miners and Coinbase and that sort of thing. And like and subscribe. See you soon.